How's it going, guys? This is a very different video, or I haven't done one of these videos in a while, but nothing interesting or anything at all really is going to happen on screen. This is just for you to listen as you scape, I guess, or just give you a little insight into what I think regarding RunePass and microtransactions as a whole, not only with what it means in RuneScape, but in the gaming community in its entirety. Hopefully it's of some enjoyment or some kind of insight or whatever the case may be, or spark some kind of discussion in the comments below. But with that being said, we're going to jump right into the video. Let's go.
Cats is the illest. What you talking about, Willis?
Before we get started, I just want to say that a lot of the JMods we talk to, be it Reddit, Twitter, whatever the case may be, forums, these are content developers. Ultimately, they do not have much power in the way of when it comes to monetizing the game, and they don't really have the power to override any type of decisions that any of the higher ups do make. I feel like that's something that's not said enough or not understood enough, because a lot of people just blame the JMods as soon as they say anything about the microtransactions going on in the game, and ultimately it's unfair. A lot of the times their hands are tied with these kinds of things. In the stream today, they actually mentioned that there are quotas or targets that they need to hit. I don't know if that's monthly or weekly or whatever the case may be, and they say that they need to meet these. I don't know what kind of consequences there may be or whatever that means or translates to if they don't meet those kinds of quotas, but there are some kinds of quotas that they need to make for whatever reason higher ups are saying that they need to, and that's why we see the abundance of these kinds of treasure hunter promos almost every single day. I'm not here to excuse it, nor do I think the JMods or the content developers are either. It's just to explain why. The content developers themselves, by and large, are extremely passionate about the game from my experience at least. So at least on that front, they are very much invested in the community and the success of the game. I feel like I shouldn't have to preface this, but just seeing the way the outcry of people nowadays, I feel like it almost needs to be said. On that same token, however, I am not saying the player base is not warranted in how they feel and how passionate they are about the microtransaction system. I totally get it myself. The excessive amounts of promotions, etc., pay-to-win model, I fully understand that and fully share the sentiments. With that understood, let's talk about how I feel about the RunePass system. In and of itself, I don't think it's a bad system by any stretch of the imagination. Specifically this time around, if it is a reoccurring thing, we'll talk about this as its pilots. It's not that bad in terms of what you're getting for your money, if you pay for obviously the golden track. You are getting yourself the cheapest legendary pets, as well as 2 cosmetic outfits and a couple of prismatic stars, lamps, and some protean packs, skilling portables, etc. So the package deal in and of itself does provide a decent amount of value, especially the legendary pet, considering it's far cheaper than any other pet, and not only that, you're getting all this extra cosmetics and stuff. Most people, I think, from what I'm hearing, are buying it because of the cheap legendary pets, which is fine. I think there's a lot of value there. Legendary pets are very useful, although there are many means, or there has been means in the past where you can get a free legendary pets. Any of the ones that you want to currently buy when there's not a promotion of a pet going on are far more expensive than this particular one. So on that specific portion of it, I think the value is worth it. Notice I'm talking with very specific portions of this particular promotion, so don't take that out of context. Understand when I'm talking about a specific portion of the RunePass. That being said, turning over to the free side, or the free track with this promotion, is extremely underwhelming. You get hardly anything for the amount of work you're putting into this, and that needs to be seriously addressed if they want to consider doing this in the future. That definitely needs to be improved. There needs to be more cosmetics or more types of rewards in order for us as players to feel like this is any type of an engaging promotion. And ultimately, from a business side, if they want to promote sales for the golden path, you need to at least make the free path enjoyable. Another criticism I wish there was far more variety in terms of the types of tasks you can do to progress to the higher tiers of the tracks. Right now, the only repeatable daily challenge is gaining XP, which gets progressively harder and harder and harder. And I understand that's to incentivize coming back each day and continuing to do it, but I really wish there was more variety in that realm. In terms of the tasks, they'll actually see you engaging with the RunePass. They mentioned on stream that the RunePass actually has 3 times more engagement of the bingo card style promotions that they've done in the past with like Walk Like a Zombie or the Deathbeard's Demise. However, a lot of people are concerned on Reddit that that's simply because the fact that the main challenge is to gain XP, and anything pretty much that you do in RuneScape will gain you XP, therefore reflect as somebody engaging in the RunePass. However, Mod Osborne does assure that that's not the only analytic that they're looking at in terms of engagement with the RunePass. There are more in terms of people buying the Gold Pass, in terms of people buying the extra tiers, and people actually seeking out and finishing the given tasks on the RunePass. I understand people are still going to take that with some skepticism, and you have every right to do so. Just because Mod Osborne has said that all their analytics are pointing towards the community liking this update doesn't necessarily mean that that's true. Also, on the other hand, just because you really don't like the updates and people around you don't really like the update doesn't mean the larger community as a whole also doesn't like the updates. I'm only saying this to be devil's advocate here and to try to broaden your perspective when you think about these kinds of things. However, if it is true, it could lead to better things in terms of microtransactions in RuneScape. That being said, I still wish there was more tasks, more engagements, and more rewards in that realm. Harking back to what I said earlier, I don't think RunePass in and of itself is a bad idea. It just wasn't implemented as well as it could have been with this pilot iteration. It can improve and ultimately is far better of a monetization option, in my personal opinion, you could disagree, than the constant treasure hunter promotions shoved down our throats every single day just about. They've actually even stopped for this week treasure hunter promotions to see how much this stands on its own in terms of a viable alternative to monetizing the game. Mod Osborne said the early initial results show that it is, and ultimately, if we allow it as a community to thrive, will replace a lot of those treasure hunter promotions, and we will see a lot less shoved down our throat every single day. So, like I said, I would much rather have this model than the constant overpowered XP promotions that we've been having for a very long time now, especially considering that this has a heavy focus on cosmetics with a few XP things or skilling things trickled here and there. Again, you can disagree, let me know down below, but I do think if this takes off, will be a much more welcomed and survivable in terms of the health of the game than the constant treasure hunter promotions. All that being said though, that does not reflect my views towards microtransactions as a whole in video games. When it comes to a game where it is already monetized, like RuneScape or any other game that you pay for, I genuinely think that microtransactions don't have a place in these types of games. However, if it is necessary for the survivability of the game, I can understand some microtransactions. However, I don't think they should affect gameplay and should be purely cosmetic, because it totally shatters the integrity of the game when somebody can buy their way to the end. However, that ship in terms of RuneScape has sailed long ago, and unfortunately that fight's already been lost. This video is just for my specific gripes and things that I did like about the RunePass system that's specifically just this particular promotion going on right now. I hope I've made that abundantly clear. But I'll pass the question on to you. What do you guys think of the RunePass this time around in terms of a microtransaction promotion as opposed to the treasure hunter promotions we get every single day? Does this stack up as better or far worse? I'd like to see a discussion in the comment section. Although guys remain civil on these topics, generally you guys do for the most part. But let's have a conversation and not people shouting at each other. That's all I can really hope for. Once again, before I close out, just remember that the JMods that we talk to every day are the content developers. They are not the ones making the decision when it comes to do these types of decisions on terms of microtransactions and monetizing the game through those means. Remember that next time you speak to one of these JMods regarding it. However, they are saying that they're going to try to make a far better approach when it comes to communicating to us in terms of the microtransactions and where they're heading with that. So hopefully going forward, and I will cover it as we go more into it, if they do follow up on that promise to be more engaged with the community, taking on feedback, and letting us know the states of monetization in RuneScape. That being said, I'm gonna wrap up the video there. If you have enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed yet and you want to stay up to date on all things RuneScape related, then hit that subscribe button. Anyways, I appreciate you watching. I am out. Peace.